What you are going to see in a couple of minutes is the new rules of Bill Maher. I know I'm risking myself with this video because there is the possibility that they will remove it for copyright. But it's funny because there are tons of Bill Maher videos and many other videos on copyright in YouTube, and they never removed. So I will be very curious to see if they are going to remove mine while they are not going to remove the others, just to talk about freedom of speech, you know. But coming back on the point, the thing that I want to stress is this one. Really, Republicans, really, you are trying to play the game to get advantage of the situation in which Osama bin Laden been killed by Obama and it was Bush who did that? Or that these videos from or these things that happened with Osama bin Laden is a false, is another hoax? Before we had the truthers, then the birthers, then now we got the Biladers, all these bullshitters. I mean, grow up, people. Serious. It's the time to grow up. I'm a liberal. I never denied that. But I'm not a truther. I don't want to be a truther. I don't care. That's not the kind of thing. That's not the kind of fight I want to do with the government. I want the fact. I don't even need the facts. I know what are the facts. And I don't care at this point. I really don't care. What I care is that I want to solve the problems. I don't want to stay in a limbo, try to find another conspiracy theory just to please my mental masturbation again and again, and without solving the problem. So instead to solve the problem of jobs, of alternative energies, of infrastructure, of high-speed rails, of healthcare, of education in this country, we find another excuse to avoid debate, find another excuse to seriously face the problems. This is what kids do. This is not what grown-ups do. And then you wonder why Norway, Finland, even Germany, they are so strong in education, or France in healthcare, or in export, and in high-speed trains and infrastructure, and even they have a job unemployment rate lower than the United States. Why you wonder about that? That's the reason why. But I will give you a couple of images now, shortly, about what the reality is in this country concerning the numbers, the figures, where this country is going in terms of being almost a third world country, for the disparities that you have between rich and poor, for the facts that in last months there were added 240,000 jobs, which are low-income jobs. 60,000 of them that were McDonald's jobs, low jobs. And the unemployment rate went to 9%, and of course the Republican will be after Obama for that, but the reality of the fact is that they start firing public employees. So the unemployment rate is going up. They are hiring in the private environment, and they are firing on purpose in the public environment because they decided they want to fire them, because they want to destroy the public environment. There is no balance at this point because you need both. Unless you want to repeal everything, and I believe that it's pretty clear that 80% of the people, they don't only want to tax the rich people, but they don't want to get rid of Medicare or Social Security. Even the majority of the Americans are in favor of a public option for health care and want to have a much better and cheaper education, even if they are Republicans. So if these people in the United States want this, you cannot get rid of the public sector like this for your pleasure, just to satisfy your corporations. Let's
go to new rules, everybody. All right, new rules, stop calling this place a mansion. It looks like a 5-unit apartment complex in Van Nuys. Is where the Beverly Hillbillies live. This is more like the house they show on the local news when some Mexican's pit bull has eaten a baby. New rule, stop saying we got Osama. We didn't do anything. We were watching Celebrity Apprentice and eating Funyuns in our sweatpants. SEAL Team 6 did the killing with money we borrowed from Beijing that our grandchildren will have to pay back.
Yeah.
So it was a joint Navy SEALs, People's Bank of China grandchildren operation. New rule, the White House doesn't have to release the dead bin Laden photos, but don't pretend that we can't take it. We handled pictures of Britney Spears' vagina getting out of a car. Come on, television has desensitized us to violence, and porn has desensitized us to people getting shot in the eye. New rule, the Pentagon must apologize to Native Americans for giving such a universally reviled character as Osama bin Laden the codename Geronimo, and admit they should have gone with their second choice, the Donald. New rule, conspiracy theorists who are claiming that we didn't really kill bin Laden must be reminded that they didn't think he did the crime in the first place. Come on, nutjobs, keep your bullshit straight. The towers were brought down in a controlled demolition by George W. Bush to distract attention from Hawaii, where CIA operatives were planting phony birth records so that a Kenyan named Obama could someday rise to power and pretend to take out the guy we pretended took out the tower. And I know that's true because I just got it in an email from Trump. And finally, new rule, now that it's become clear that the Republicans, the fiscally conservative, strong on defense party, are neither fiscally conservative nor strong on defense, they have to tell us what exactly it is they're good at. Because, because it's not defense. 9/11 happened on your watch. And you retaliated by invading the wrong country. And you lost a 10-year game of hide-and-seek with Osama bin Laden. And you're responsible for running up most of the debt, which more than anything makes us weak. You're supposed to be the party with the killer instinct, but it was a Democrat who put a bomb in Gaddafi's bedroom and a bullet in bin Laden's eye like Mo Green. Raising the question, how many Muslims does a black guy have to kill in one weekend before crackers climb down off his ass? So let's look at some facts. Now, for you Fox News viewers, feel free to turn down the sound until the flashing facts light at the bottom of your screen disappears. When Bill Clinton left office in 2001, the Congressional Budget Office predicted that by the end of the decade, we would have paid off the entire debt and have a $2 trillion surplus. Instead, we have a $10.5 trillion public debt, and the difference in those two numbers is mostly because the Republicans put tax cuts for the rich, free drugs for the elderly, and 2 wars on the layaway plan, and then bailed on the check. So much for fiscal responsibility. But hey, at least they still had the defense thing, right? The public still believed Republicans were tougher when it came to hunting down dark-skinned foreigners with funny-sounding names. But Bush had 7 years to get Osama. He didn't. He got Wesley Snipes. Only 6 months after 9/11, Bush said he didn't spend that much time on bin Laden, that he was no longer concerned about him, just as he wasn't before 9/11, when he blew off that mysterious, inscrutable memo entitled, "Bin Laden Determined to Attack Inside the U.S." In under a year, Bush went from who gives a shit to wanted dead or alive and back to who gives a shit. Why focus on the terrorist who reduced Wall Street to rubble when you can help Wall Street reduce the whole country to rubble? In 2008, the candidates were asked if they knew for sure that bin Laden was in Pakistan, would you send our guys in without permission to get him? McCain said no, because Pakistan is a sovereign nation. Obama said yes, he'd just do it. And McCain called him naive. Who's being naive, Kay? And why can't you just admit that Barack Obama is one efficient, steely-nerved, multitasking, black ninja gangsta president? In 1 week, he produced his birth certificate, comforted disaster victims, swung by Florida to say hey to Gabby Giffords, did stand-up at the Correspondents' Dinner, and then personally rappelled into bin Laden's lair and put a Chinese star through his throat without waking up any of his 13 wives. That's how it went down. I saw it on MSNBC. Look, 30% of this country will always vote Republican. I'm just asking why. Yes, paranoia, greed, and racism are fun, but it's like when you see someone driving a Mercury. You think, did that person really wake up one day thinking, you know what car I want to drive? A Mercury Mariner. No, you assume he knows someone who sells them, or he was molested by a Kia dealer as a child. And I know this all sounds like harsh truth, but Republicans are supposed to be the party of harsh truths. Like, there's no such thing as a free lunch. And speaking of lunch, I think Obama just ate yours. All right, that's our show. I want to thank my guest.
Hey guys, these are the figures that you need to know. These are the figures you have to deal with, and will be very interesting. The corporate profits are soaring. Fortune 500 companies made $10.8 trillion in 2010. They grew 81%. But they are not creating jobs. They are not creating jobs. The average S&P 500 CEOs their pay in 2010 was $9 million, 24% up from 2009, because they are cutting payrolls and shipping jobs abroad. Much easier. But they are putting practically $2 trillion under the mattress that are not invested. These are all profits that should be invested for their interest, because if you kill the middle class, if you kill the small business, if you kill every small providers that help you to be the big corporation that you are fucked. So your greed or your personal ambition is destroying your own business. And the truth is that these people, and that's the reason why Wall Street is going so well, they are reinvesting this own money on themselves. So they are speculating again. This is not invested money in projects. This is reinvesting your own money for yourself in your company, but the money is not coming down because the payrolls are going down, the jobs that you find are cheaper in terms of salaries, and they are shipped abroad. So the total income share of the top 1% that was 8.5% in 1980 rose to 20% in 2008. An average income fell 44.5% in 1980 to 23.27% in 2008. So sorry, the first one was 1980 and now in 2008. We are in the situation in which the middle class is paying more in taxes, and housekeeper is paying more in taxes right now than a corporation. That's the America we are talking about. That's the shit in which we are.